Well, oh, it's not all about Arteta wanting the budget. It's all about Douglas Luiz to Arsenal transfer latest. And it's a story that we're gonna hit obviously gather in here about his latest. And I was like, before I go to bed, I need to do something about this story. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this and also as not to miss out on stories that we do upload here on a daily. Douglas Luiz transfer hint to the club of Aston. And in the mix, we're having Mokoku. You know him very well, young stuff from Borussia Dortmund. Looks like Dortmund wants him out. And Barkley, you know, looks like he's going to agree a 2-year deal with the side of Aston Villa. Smash the like button close to 300 times, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and we thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims, Barkley, Hikum and Juma Karim. Now, John Cross has come out and said Arsenal may also be monitoring clubs with financial considerations, as Aston Villa are one of those, with the Gunners long admirers of Douglas Luiz, but clearly the Midland club do not want to sell. Now, I've gonna hate to say to it that Aston Villa is playing what you call a hard game, all hard ball, to say that this really comes to materialization. You know, the price tag itself, £105 million. It's obviously a red flag for this deal to happen, and now they're like, we don't want to sell. Now, clubs like Aston Villa, who know that they haven't gonna reach a level to keep a player that a team like Man City wants or Arsenal wants. They know it very well, and they don't have the necessary resources to keep Douglas Luiz there, because if Arsenal or Man City comes out and really promises this guy a salary of £200,000 a week, do you think the player won't be moved? Agents are here to make money, and the agent will be like, they're offering us more money. Villa can only get us £100,000 a week. These ones are doubling our salary. Can we really get out of this team? Because they're even willing to obviously pay off the amount of money that we're always going to have to call in for. So Douglas Luiz is a player that I think Aston Villa should move on. To say to it that they don't really cause a lot of chaos to their side, whoever meets their realistic evaluation of this player on Man City and Arsenal should get the player first. I think that is it. And Arsenal are really trying to buy their time, because they know to it that Aston Villa is having what we call financial problems, and that's why they don't want to obviously rush into what we call a moment of signing Douglas Luiz. But we all know that Arsenal is interested in Douglas Luiz. This is, I think, the third summer, right? 2022, 2023, 2024. Douglas Luiz being linked to the side of Arsenal, and we don't know whether this time around Arsenal is going to come out and obviously get this guy in. But I tell you what, he's a very good player, many assists, many goals this season. That is Douglas Luiz for you. So Arsenal will have to wait and see how things really pan out as far as this guy is concerned. And in my mind, I think we wait until the decision is going to be made, because the decision on who is going to be the priority signing of Arsenal in every department is going to be made, I think, towards the end of or mid-June or towards the end of June. Arteta is now on holiday, and he's like, things should really go on the right way. We should really wait and see how things pan out. And the other reason, I went ahead to hint on it when I was talking about Benjamin Sesko and I think Bruno Guimaraes, name it. Arsenal are waiting for the tournaments, I think, to come to an end. For example, the Copa America, because when you look at the Copa America, a player might get injured there, and spending £100 million onto Douglas Luiz and he gets injured will be a very huge red flag for the club of Arsenal. The other factor, I've gone ahead to talk about it, I think today, when I was hinting on Thomas Partey, that it depends on Thomas Partey. The departure of Thomas Partey will give way to either Douglas Luiz or Bruno Guimaraes to coming through to play for the club of Arsenal. But Arsenal will be willing to sign these two midfielders if at all they had the money. But I don't think that they can only get £200 million and they spend the money on two players. But for me, if I'm Arsenal, I can even go out and spend that money onto those guys because I know how good they can become and how competitive the midfield of Arsenal is going to be like, because there are times where you will need to obviously be having those three midfielders into the mid of the park. We're talking about Declan Rice, Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimaraes. But if the worst goes to the worst, they need to bring in one at the club of Aston to obviously help them do the job and deal with it in the right way possible. So we wait and see how that pans out. But Douglas Luiz to Arsenal transfer hurdles are in here for you. Aston Villa don't want to sell, but I know these are tactics of teams that really want to really milk out every penny in what we call a deal, you know. But Arsenal, being admirers of this side, I tell you what, they know what exactly they are doing, because they've gone ahead to obviously have experts at these deals, and they're also playing a hardball. And for Aston Villa, it looks like they are finding replacements for a player to do the Douglas Luiz role, and this player is none other than Ross Barkley. This is not I think this is not the first time I'm talking about Ross Barkley to Aston Villa. It's like the third time, and now this is what we've gone ahead to get in from the Footy Insider. Ross Barkley has agreed a 2-year contract with Aston Villa that includes a 1-year extension option. Now, if you look at the workaholicism of Douglas Luiz, he obviously looks more lazy than Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley has a very good skill set, and I think if they move on Douglas Luiz, then this guy will obviously come in through to do the needful. They know to it that it will be by God's mercy for them to keep Douglas Luiz, you know, and all what they have to do is to get in players that won't violate the financial fair play. For example, Ross Barkley, I think from Luton Town, they won't really get him on a high because he's a 30-year-old player, and when he comes in through, I think he can revive his career at Aston Villa. And there are players you can't keep. You can't keep. If at all you're Luton Town, you can't keep a Ross Barkley with the season he had and the reputation I was going to have to be having in the previous times in the Premier League. There is no way you obviously keep him at Aston Villa. So a 2-year deal is going to have to be agreed now. It remains to it that Villa gets this deal done and dusted in between them and Luton Town. It's obviously going to be a given that this deal is going to be happening because Luton Town was relegated back to the Championship, right? And this guy called and this guy called Ross Barkley will obviously do the needful, and he wouldn't like to play in the Championship. He would love to be playing in the Premier League. For the side of Aston Villa, they're also going to be playing in the Champions League, so he has a lot to really miss out on if at all he really stays at Luton Town. And Luton Town will do everything possible to earn some huge amount of money from this deal, I tell you. They will do all what it takes to earn some huge amount of money, and we wait to see how this really pans out for the side of Luton Town. But it's all about this guy being the replacement for Douglas Luiz. I just see it happening in there for you. Lastly, let's talk about Yusuf Moukoko. You know, should leave the club in any case. Internally, the club has lost faith in the player to assert himself, especially in Taziki's system with a clear poacher. Now, this guy is a center forward. He can play on the wide right, wide left, but he's young, and he hasn't gone ahead to make 20 years of age. And it looks like he is really one of those that's going to fail out with the manager, Tazik. And I tell you, Tazik now is untouchable at Borussia Dortmund, having gone ahead to obviously take them to their first final of the Champions League after 11 years. They just played in the Champions League final in 2012, 2013, and now 2023, 2024, he's the manager responsible for taking them there. But Moukoko was really of huge interest from clubs last summer when his contract was obviously running down, and teams wanted to sign him on a free. But the moment he put pen on paper, he really had something like a neglection from these clubs. Now wait and see how things are going to pan out, but his agent is being rumored to be a problem in there for you. So guys, your thoughts on Douglas Luiz to Arsenal transfer hint, latest. What do you make about it? Ross Barkley, 2-year deal agreed with Aston Villa. And lastly, Moukoko is one of those players that is being thrown under the bus. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Barakallahu fikum. We sign out. Bye-bye.